What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Diamond is Unbreakable. Overall, love this week's episode. I won't lie, I wasn't a big fan, and not so much how this episode ended, but just kind of like the dialogue in it, because I'm not really a big fan of like Shakespearean romantic as dialogue, and how far Koichi was willing to go for Yukiko was a little much, but I'll talk more about that when we get to that part of the episode. But first, I gotta say, apologies for the delay, guys. I am sorry it took, but that the Toonami reviews are taking so long. I'm actually recording this late Monday night. Well, not late. Raw's about to start in like less than 30 minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised if you still come out till Tuesday, because I got a bunch of because I still got some homework I gotta do. So once again, guys, apologies for these videos taking so long. Been busy, yesterday was the Royal Rumble, and you guys know that was gonna take the bulk of my time, because it is the Rumble, and the Rumble was surprisingly long this year. But enough jibber jabber, let's get into this week's episode. So we start this episode off with Yukiko, and she's just making her way, I'm guessing, to school or maybe back to home. And we head over to the cafe. Koichi's with Josuke and Okuyasu. He's talking about when they went to the Angelo Rock and people were losing their mind. And Yukiko looks at our boy Koichi. Koichi looks back. Their eyes meet for like a second. She runs away like, if Koichi is in my heart, that's all I need. At least that's what I used to tell myself until the pain set in. Like I said, this episode was consistently having very Shakespearean, romantic-esque style, which with this episode it does fit into the context, but I didn't hate it, but it's a little much for me. Like, I'm not a fan of Shakespeare in all honesty. And so she makes it while she's on her way home. She comes to like this beauty parlor, by the name of Cinderella. And this woman comes out and she's like, "Oh, thank you, my husband." Like, I think she said like her boyfriend finally proposed to her or something. It was something about proposal. And she's like, "Thank you." She's crying like crazy, and then she walks up being like, "Woohoo!" celebrating all that shit. And so then she comes, and then she sees Yukiko, and she's like, "Yes, why don't you come in? We promised to give you true love, help you find true love," I should say. And so she's like, "Alright, fuck it," and she walks in. Then we actually get like a small little cameo of Kira, which was nice to see, because you guys remember, the last couple of weeks I was like, "Oh man, there's no Kira, come on, y'all introduced her, but come on, give me some more Kira." We get a small little cameo of Kira, which I'll take y'all. I'm so hyped to see Kira once he really becomes the focal point of Diamond, the focal point of Diamond is Unbreakable. I'm looking forward to seeing that whenever that happens. Maybe in a few episodes, I don't know. Anyway, so we get that. So she walks in there, and then she introduces herself as Ayoshugi, I think her name was. I honestly don't know which is her first and which is her last. But her voice, it's so much. She's like, "My name is Ayoshugi. I am I forget what she was. She was like, I run this beauty parlor, Cinderella. Welcome to my place." She says a lot. And she says, "But don't worry, I'm not as bored as I sound. I am actually quite passionate about my work." She says it so many times I never saw a black forgot this one, but will you stop saying that? It's like, who was that personality in Spit? Harold? No. Hedwig, from Split. He's like, "and etc." He always has to say it with etc. So it's kind of like that. And so she's like, so she sits down in the chair, looks at the mirror, and she's like, "Hold on." And she's like, "Okay, let us be." Right? She's like talking like she's about to begin on this, the procedure. And she's like, "Hold on, I never said I was going to agree to any of this." And she's like, "Well, of course. Here is our menu." And so she looks at it. There's one, like, a celebrity makeover. She's like, if that one catches right, she's like, "Yes, my technique with me, I will promise to make, to help you find true love." She actually talks about how, that, she's like, that she compliments that Yukiko is beautiful, but she's like, "It's a shame your eyebrows and I have such a weird shape." I forget the exact wording. She said her eyes and eyebrows just had a weird shape to them, essentially. And so after that, she, so then she's like, and then she looks at it and she kind of explains a little bit how, she's going to, like, use makeup, whatever, to, help her find true love. And she's like, wait, is this plastic surgery? And she's like, no. Everything I do is through makeup and a beauty massage. I do not know what the hell that means, but whatever, we'll go with it. So then she thinks that this is wait, I already mentioned something about plastic surgery. So she then goes and then goes on her computer. Actually, right before she's on the computer, she says, the harder you fall for somebody, the more they pull back. Isn't that right with your face? And she's like, oh, she's shocked by this. She's like, oh, looks like I found the root of the problem. She's like, no, you didn't. That's never happened to me. There's no way. There's no Koichi. She's obviously denying the fact about how true this actually is with Koichi. I mean, and one thing they never explain how Yukiko's hair grew back, how it got back out. Now we can probably assume that she probably just grew her hair back out, and I guess we can also assume that she probably just dyed it black since it was white last time we saw her when she had her own little mini arc in Diamond is Unbreakable. So we can assume that she probably dyed it and it probably grew back on its own. Or maybe her stand maybe had her hair go back to black after a while. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, And so she's like, you know what? This is the shittiest pitch I've ever heard. But after they kept talking for a little bit, she eventually's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll humor you. Let's do it. She says, all right. Then puts I forget these things are. What these things are called? Those things you put on when you go to a barbershop and you get your hair cut. They usually put this thing over you. That. And she's like, now close your eyes and do not open them. We wouldn't want to spoil a surprise. And then I was like, And then we find out she's a stand user. She has her stand. Liked her stand design. It was pretty cool. She's like, now hold still, otherwise my hand might slip. And so their stand's hand comes to Yukiko's face. Screen goes to black. We see her. She's looking at it in this mirror, and her face is actually different. Her eyebrows have more of a U shape to them, I guess. U shape to them, and she's like, "Oh wow, it actually worked." Now she goes and sees this actually works on Koichi. And she actually only has 30 minutes until the effects wear off. She has 30 minutes to find true love. Otherwise, let's assume the makeup wears off or the effects wear off. Whatever the case may be, she has 30 minutes to find Koichi and have him fall in love with her. So she's walking down the street, and from here it becomes probably the most cliche and romance I've ever seen. But I think David Production did that on purpose, or maybe also Rocky to an extent. So she's walking down the street. Koichi literally just runs into her. That's the first thing happens, and then she's like, and then you got this music that's like robot like this, like this kind of romantic X music starts playing, and you got the slow mo and everything, and so he's like, hi Yukiko, I saw you pass by the cafe, and you look like you were down the dumps, so I was looking all over to check on you, see if everything was okay, and she's like, Koichi, you really went that far just for me? She's like, yeah, I know a lot of shit has happened between us, but that's all water in the prison, for which I wouldn't lie that some of the stuff Koichi has to say, I wouldn't be surprised it's actually influenced by the Cinderella treatment. Like what happens in the ending and kind of this whole stuff here. So she's, jeez, I can't get my words out. So after they kind of are done looking at each other for a good solid minute, she's like, yeah, so bye, sees everything okay, and then she's like, wait, how about we go somewhere more private to talk? Like, Yukiko's like, all right, let me take the first step here. Like, I like that someone's actually taking the first step. She's like, all right, let's play this game of chess. Let's see if I make sure I can win. Koichi's like, okay, so they go over to the cafe, I think he picked up a sundae, and he's like, this is romantic. She's like, no, it's totally manly, I'll get it too. And then it gets even more cliche. So Koichi is like, eating a sundae, then he kind of his hand slips and almost trips, and almost tips over the glass it's in. But, Yukiko Magic Cats and their hands touch, and they're like, and then you got the filters and the sparkles and the music and everything starts playing. Like I said, cliche as hell, but I bet that was done on purpose by David Productions. So after that, it's some dude that's on another table from them. And it's like, oh crap, it's 4, I gotta go. And then Koichi gets this sickening feeling. So he's like, my stomach, sorry Yukiko, I gotta go. And so he stopped running because he got the summon key. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason he was doing it was probably due to his stand. Maybe Reverb was telling him, look bro, you need to get the fuck out of here. And that's why, or maybe his body is trying to tell him, bro, or maybe this is his version of spider sense. It's telling him, dude, get out of here, this isn't for you, she's trying to trick you. whatever the case may be, I wouldn't be surprised if just some gut feeling he had to just tell him to just get out. Because when we get back to him, he says he's completely fine. So I'm sure it's one of those. Now, actually, right here, this is actually my TV actually glitched out on me, or at least the signal glitched out on me while I was watching that too. So I don't know what happened in this little part right after when Koichi was running. And next time we see it, because next time we see, because when the single came back and it didn't start glitching out, we see that Yukiko is back in Cinderella, and she's going through the full process, not just the makeup. She's going through the full procedure, beauty massage, everything. So if I had to guess, probably her time limit ran out because she sees the clock. Because remember with Cinderella, she had till midnight, so probably same rules apply with this. And so she probably comes over here to make sure it lasts on, and she can actually win against Koichi. So she goes through the procedure. We find out that this is when actually Yukiko realizes that she is indeed a stand user. Cinderella is indeed a stand user. She sees her stand. She's like, okay, you're a stand user. I knew it, but I don't really care. You're a stand user. Just work your magic. Just work your magic, fairy godmother. She's like, okay, you are in good hands. And she does the whole thing where she her face, or at least her eyes and eyebrows, kind of come out like a slot. Kind of reminds me of Rohan stand, with him, pages come out of people's faces and their body parts. It works similar to that, only this time pieces of their face and their other body parts come out like slots, it's like a Lego set or something. So her eyes come out, she switches out another one, works on her fingerprints in her hands, I think was another one, and the full procedure is completely done here. So then she goes over to find Koichi again, and then Koichi's like, oh, the man starts blushing and stuff. He's like, he apologizes for that he ran off, and finds that he actually grabbed the wrong bag, so he switches her backpack, and Koichi's about to go off, and she's like, wait, Koichi, look at me, don't I arouse some feeling in you? And Koichi just kind of looks at her in awe, and he's like, yeah, now that I think about it, and then she gets blocked again. Then our man Rohan Kishibe shows. He's like, hey, Koichi, my boy, how you doing, brother? I'm actually heading over to the mall to take some photos. Care to join me? And he's like, oh, I would love to, Rohan, but I have to go back home. And he's like, then he ends up just taking him with him anyway. And and Yukiko's like, what? How is this happening? Well, he's leaving. Damn it! So she runs over to the nearest phone booth, which wasn't that far, and is just ranting and raving to this woman about how you feel, how is this not working? Yada yada yada. And while she's talking, we see that Josuke met with Koichi's mom and sister. Josuke ends up following up, as well as Joseph, and I think also Okuyasu was there as well. I'm not completely sure about that one. So after that, and we found that she's like, your 30 minutes are, and then she tells oh, don't worry, he is madly in love with you, but just his mind, his rational mind, is resisting his heart's impulses. Did something happen between you two? Because if so, that's the read, which we know that happens because we know what happened, earlier on in the series with Koichi getting kidnapped and everything. So after that, so she's like, yeah, put on the lipsticks on right now because she asked to put on lipstick. So she puts it on right now, and she's good. So when she leaves the phone book, there's everybody there with Koichi, his mom, his sister, Josuke, the whole crew. Everyone's there minus Jotaro. But we all know he wouldn't waste his time with this. Oh man, this was fun. And she's like, what? Why? Who the hell are all these people? And to make matters more awkward, his mom is here. So she's like, he's my ass butterfly. And then her eyes starts having that twitch, but she's like, no, it's rude. Let's keep going. I'm going to win this. I'm going to win this battle. So we get to the mall. Koichi's and the baby's also there with Joseph. But the baby still is wearing the makeup and everything, so I guess she hasn't completely regained her normal state. She's still mildly invisible. So Rohan's taking photos, but the flash ends up upsetting the baby. The baby starts crying, and he's like, oh, son, you can't use the flash on the baby, and then it starts going invisible. So then Josuke and Joseph starts running out of the mall, like, out of the way, move! And so while they're running out, trying to yell them all throughout this crowd, I guess Joseph ended up elbowing Koichi because he ends up getting sent flying. But he's like, oh, sorry, Koichi, and lands right into Yukiko's arms. And by God, did it just get super cliche from this point, but I bet that was on purpose. Like, I was watching this scene, I'm like, What am I watching? The Notebook? So they stare into each other's eyes. You got the filter, the music, you know, and everything, the sparkles. Koichi says, "Oh wowzers!" Yes, he says, "Oh wowzers." Oh dear God. Yukiko. And so they look into their eyes. They close the distance and end up kissing. Yukiko comments about how this is that their souls are now intertwined. And dear God, what's this? Oh man, I was like, what am I watching? That Notebook here? Dear God, what is this? This is so cliche and so cheesy. Not a fan, but I bet that was on purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if Araki and David Productions did all this on purpose. And I wouldn't be surprised if people like this, but too much for me, personally. Too much for me, personally. Anyway. So, oh man, that scene was something. So after that, we get back to school. Koichi's talking with Okuyasu and Josuke. Okuyasu and Josuke are actually chilling out sitting on top of on the window, but it's open, so they can barely just, you know, if they weren't careful, they could just fall off. But so Josuke is drinking some, I don't know, orange juice. It was out some card, and Koichi tells him that him and Yukiko made out. It takes a second for Josuke to register in Josuke's head. He then almost falls over the window, but Shine Dan manages to catch him. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Run me by that again? Are you telling me that you and you and Yukiko made out?" And then we look over to Okuyasu, and the man starts crying. And the fact that Koichi, our boy, has kissed the girl, but I'm assuming Okuyasu has not. And so he tells him, we find after that pretty much Yukiko has gone off the grid completely. He's been missing school. She hasn't contacted him. He can't find her. She has gone AWOL, off the grid, MIA, whatever. Koichi says, I didn't like her, but it's pretty shitty that she ghosted you. And next thing, Koichi tells him that, he's fallen in love with her, that she has grown on him, yada yada. And Josuke is just still struggling to have this register of what has transpired here about Koichi ending up with Yukiko. So Josuke ends up telling him, like, "Hey man, why don't you go find her yourself? Find yourself and settle this man to man, or man to woman, I guess, face to face." And he also tells him, and also Josuke tells him, "Yeah, man, you gotta do this on your own. This is your thing. This ain't our business, so you gotta do this on your own." So he's like, "Okay," and then he leaves, and then goes looking over and tries to find Yukiko. He's walking down the street. We see this woman that looks like Yukiko because of her hair. Koichi even comments, "I recognize her hair anywhere." So he runs over to the woman. He says, "Yukiko, I'm so glad I found you. We need to talk." And this woman, who it is revealed to you because we can see her face, but her eyes are black and her pupils are like gray, and so yikes. She says, "I'm sorry, you have the wrong woman. I don't know who you're referring to." He's like, "Oh, sorry. I thought your hair looked like someone I knew." So Koichi walks in the opposite direction. Yukiko keeps walking. She turns around and thinks to herself, "No, Koichi. Come, please, don't leave me. Come back." It's super cliche. Super cheesy, super cliche. And then, in a fit of rage, Speeds walks over to the Cinderella parlor, and just as it uses her hair stand, grabs Fairly Godmother. I'm just gonna call her Fairly Godmother because I can't remember her name. Grabs her by the throat and throws her against the table, the bed, whatever you want to call her. She does her procedures, throws against that. She says, "You bitch, I'm going to kill you. What have you done to me?" And we find out that this is actually kind of like that there was an after effect of the lipstick. The lipstick was supposed to keep her old makeup in check, but you were supposed to apply that every 30 minutes. But she forgot, so this is how her face turned out, like this. So then then the top part, then her face, or at least where her eyes and eyebrows are, starts to disintegrate, and there's a little gap between that area because we know her face got swapped out with another one when she did the procedure. We saw this earlier on the episode, and it kind of works similar to Rohan's stand with the pages thing. So after that, then her finger, then her hand starts, like the skin around her hand on her hand starts to disintegrate a little bit. Her palm strokes or palm lines, and I believe she also said her fingerprints also disappear. And she also comments about, like, you know, that nobody wants a woman with missing parts, or they don't want someone missing parts. So the whole hand, so everything, so her hands disappear and her face is gone. So, you know, she's screwed. Koichi ends up walking in, and it's because he's like, probably because he was probably like, know what that is. That is Yukiko. Let me follow her. And so he gets there, but Yukiko still doesn't want to face Koichi in this state that she is, so ugly with her missing face. And she's like, oh, fairy godmother, you said this is a polish for women only. I want him out immediately. And then he's like, now I know it's you. I know the toughest nails exterior anywhere. And it's like, oh. So then she saw the fairy godmother is meant to Koichi, and then she's like, you know what? Because of your boyfriend, or because of Koichi being able to recognize you even without your face, I guess he just knew your character very well. I will do this so to get you back your face. So all these faces start to appear around them, and Yukiko has to pick one, and whichever one is her real face. But her real face is completely gone. But with her face, that was the one that she used when she had the Cinderella treatment done. Her face will go back to normal. So she's like, oh yeah, I can do this all. Yeah, this is easy. You know, I just look in the mirror every day. I know what my face looks like. Yeah. She's like, don't get cocky. And she also makes some Cinderella references about how this is like the fairy, like, you know, the glass slipper. You don't find your perfect fit. Yada. So then she starts getting worried. She also says that actually, if you find the wrong one, you get your face, that face and your personality will clash. You know, you'll turn out ugly, and then also determine your destiny. So then Yukiko gets scared. She's like, which one is mine? And then we find out. Fairy godmother thinks to herself and says that actually none of these faces are the real one. They're all fakes. And if she can figure that out, she'll return back to normal. So she looks around, Yukiko picks this one, and almost puts it on, but she's like, no, my eyes are a little different than this one, so she puts it back. And then she decides to let Koichi pick, because, you know, at least then she can be satisfied that's a face that Koichi can look at and enjoy. And so after this, oh yeah, like this is the one part of the episode, like I said, I wasn't really perfect. Like, this is when I was like, okay, come on now. So Koichi grabs a face and says, don't ask me why I picked this one, I guess it was just intuition, and shows off his stand reverb, and he tells Fairy Godmother to, like, soul reverb's eyes together and blind Koichi forever. Because he would know that if he picked the wrong one, she would be mad, she would be upset with herself, and he doesn't want to look at her, or he doesn't want to, and so he doesn't want that for her, so he'd rather not see at all than see Yukiko like this. Okay. Now, granted, we could say this is also an effect of the procedure. We could probably say there's probably still an effect on Koichi on this, which I wouldn't be surprised if they are, and I wouldn't be surprised Koichi actually doesn't like Yukiko, but I think maybe now, I don't know if the makeup or whatever the abilities her Stannis has wearing off, or they're still in there. Whatever the case may be, I think they're still on, because the fact Koichi's going so far as willing to blind himself for this. Now, we know Koichi's a nice guy. We know he would go very far for his friends and everything, but I would not see Koichi going this far as to blinding himself, which I can only imagine. That when this first aired, subbed on Crunchyroll, the fanfics that must have gotten sprung up from this. Dear God, I bet the female fan base of JoJo were all over Koichi at this point. And then she tries on the face, it ends up being a perfect, and now, as we know, none of the faces are right, so we're like, oh no, Koichi's gonna blind himself, no. But the Fairy Godmother was so impressed and shocked the fact that Koichi went so far for her that she ended up bending the rules and giving them a happy ending. So the face was real. So she changed out the face. Everything is good. Everyone is happy ever after. The end. So overall, love this week's episode of JoJo. Wasn't a big fan of a lot of the dialogue, but I know that was probably the point. So anyway, guys, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Like always, I really dug the whole stuff with Koichi and the art. It was just an overall really enjoyable episode. So yeah, so hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like. Links down in the description box below. As always, come back for more. See you guys next time.